Joyce, the judge who refused to hold Trump in contempt reportedly wants him to choose what subpoena compliance will look like. The Washington Post writes, quote, U.S. District Judge Beryl A. Howell told Justice Department lawyers and Trump's legal team to come to an agreement themselves over what actions or assurances by Trump's office would satisfy the government. Can you explain to me how that's going to work, Joyce?
Yeah, it looks like the judge is giving the Trump team enough rope to hang themselves with here. Judges are often very hesitant to get in between two parties who are disputing in a situation like this. Sanctions are imposed with some rarity. I think the public has a higher expectation that a judge might act to hold someone in contempt than is consistent with what we typically see. But now this is on the judge's radar screen. She has asked the parties to resolve the issue. And the real problem here is that the Trump side refuses to be held accountable. They've dodged it in a couple of different ways, currently by refusing to designate a custodian of records, someone who's responsible for saying, we've turned everything over, and if we haven't, you can come back and look to me for accountability. So this should come to a head, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because it sort of felt like mom language to me. It is a thing I say to my girls, go figure it out. What happens if they can't?
If they can't, DOJ is free to reinstate its motion, and they might get a more friendly hearing at that point, because the reality is that the subject matter of this dispute is deadly serious. It involves classified materials, materials that if they fall into the wrong hands could do grave damage to national security. So I think the judge has given the Trump team a little bit of rope here, but not too much.
Yeah, Matt, I wonder how you think this all plays out politically.
Well, I mean, I've never underestimated the capacity of Republican leaders to ignore corruption as it surrounds the president and the breaking of law and violating ethics and all of that. The only thing I think that's frayed the sort of circle the wagons around Trump is the fact that he's now become a loser politically. So I think that there's a ton of weight on Donald Trump. I think that there finally is some cracks in the ice, but it's based more on his political standing. But the more this goes forward, the more it gives them an out, Republican leaders an out to start abandoning him in the course of this. And that's what I think you'll begin to see. And it's less to do with the results of this case, unfortunately, and more to do with they now think he's a weight on them politically.